Alright, I have limited time right now at the Ontario Library. This I am going to upload with regard to showing you how, hold on a second, how, or who rather, are the deputies that are engaged in, here we go, that were documented engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as I remained inside, subject to kidnapping inside of West Valley Jail. This is relevant to the fictitious prosecution brought by the state seeking to conceal its engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring. That is the case number Mary Wendy Victor 200000640. These are the names and or badge numbers of the deputies engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, criminal defamation. They are engaged in kidnapping. They are engaged in criminal threats, intimidation, and harassment while I am subject to monitoring inside of the venue, subject to a fictitious prosecution. And these are those that I documented as much as I could while subject to this kidnapping, the state flying over by plane and helicopter, the state amplifying audible activity, the state directing light inside of the units where I remained. This is relevant to that which I am also uploading onto Facebook, and it goes with what I have documented with regard to identifying the deputies, and I have more. These are the deputies. This is with regard to my being subject to sexual assault and battery by the deputies Bellamy, Sharp, and Dominguez, who cut off my clothes. I did put in a grievance. That's an internal, I guess, sort of process that they have, and it is for purposes of documentation because the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department has no intention of addressing it, and they did not. It's for purposes of documentation. These are the officers of the court that are engaged in this fictitious prosecution, engaged in kidnapping, engaged in criminal defamation, engaged in, and specifically the lawyers and the judges in that court, engaging in the fictitious prosecution and that which was also the intentional withholding of zealous advocacy on the part of the target individual, that is myself, and understand that this is intentional conduct. This is how a court is able to engage in a fictitious prosecution, because you do not have a public defender, an attorney that is actually defending your rights. This is how a state is able to engage in a literal fake case, naming a district attorney, F. Ramos, who is not a real person. Okay, engaging in the allegations of false charges by Ontario police who were engaged in the pattern of conduct of monitoring, federal group stalking and monitoring, and then engaging kidnapping to conceal that. This is Jason Knighton and L. Keys. Jason Knighton, Ontario Police Officer number 80509. This is the same case, initiated, arrested January 13th, 2020, kidnapped by those officers on January 13th. Kidnapped again after being released on quote-unquote probation in a fake case on January 28th, 2020. Kidnapped again on February 18th by Lisa Rogan, who was engaged in criminal monitoring inside of that courtroom in Department R18, and remained also engaged in criminal defamation, citing she was having me committed when I was there for a trial for a false arrest. Okay, that's quite a leap because it is the pattern of conduct. And this is on February 18th, and I remain subject to kidnapping from February 18th to April 22nd after holding up signs stating the fact that it was a fake case, that I never got a trial, that I was subject to defamation while inside of that unit. I'm released on April 22nd, kidnapped again on September 25th by Ontario Police. I have uploaded the Facebook Live video of that. Ontario Police, while I'm documenting, engaged in lawful conduct, citing a warrant in a fake case. Okay, what I'm showing you right now are the medical workers. I documented what I could, their names. This is all I have are their names, their first names, and these are the people who work with the deputies. Okay, this is facilitation by those who call themselves part of the medical profession. They are a disgrace to the medical profession. They were engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, all elements present, while they engaged in monitoring me while engaging and also kidnapping, because that's what this is legally. They're monitoring me while I'm subject to kidnapping, and they are engaged in the criminal elements. This is intentional conduct, seeking to keep me concealed, my presence concealed inside of that venue. I'm holding up signs. They read the signs. They're engaged in monitoring on a daily basis, acting with the state that's flying over, directing light inside of that venue, engaging in not only their literal audible activity is not only the substance of what is criminal defamation, and that is defamation serving the criminal purpose of monitoring with communication devices. It is also serving the purposes of monitoring its literal audible activity as they defame me, and it's not only, it is libel because it is on the cameras inside of that facility where I remained illegally under a fake case. Okay, they are all liable for kidnapping. They are engaged and documented as such inside of that venue that is West Valley Detention Center, engaged in ceaseless monitoring while I am kidnapped, acting with the deputies, acting with the inmates. Okay, this is, yes.
I'm sorry to say you passed your hour.
Sure. Oh, okay. Leaving right now. So it is currently 3:13 p.m. and this is my posting of that documentation. And the final thing that I want to make sure that I post is the, hold on one second, documentation of those engaged in monitoring. As I have limited access to the internet and the ability to charge, which the state that is documenting is aware of that. This is from December 24th to December 28th, that's today. And this is documentation of third parties and their license plates engaged in criminal monitoring with the state stalking with the fake sun, the state stalking with sirens, the police, ambulance, and fire. I continuously document P.O.C. whether I'm on the internet or not. This is publishing this information, subject to federal group stalking and monitoring at Ontario Town Square specifically. What I want to note are the engaging in ongoing harassment and targeting by Ontario police who arrived at Ontario Town Square while they're monitoring me, writing down all these license plates, engage in targeting me, telling me that I can't sit at that public venue, okay, and accusing me of that which I am not doing. I'm sitting down like everyone else, helicopter patrolling over that venue, the state aiming its fake sun over that venue, and sending Ontario police. So I'm combining documentation right now, but that's because I have limited resources to do so. And this is P.O.C. as I've been continuously documenting from December 24th to currently December 28th, and I continue to document on paper and in every means possible. Ontario police at Ontario Town Square at 1:20 p.m. Engaged in monitoring, criminal summoning by Ontario Town Square, who was monitoring me and calling the police, just like Economy N did when I was kidnapped on September 25th. That's called criminal summoning, and that is that which is designed to be addressed by SIIS legislation. It is December 28th, 2020 at 3:15 p.m. and that is the P.O.C.